we're referencing a principle that emphasizes honesty and integrity in communication. It means that when you say yes, you commit to it, and when you say no, you stand by that decision. There's no ambiguity, no hidden meanings, and no going back on your word. This idea is found in various ethical and religious teachings, highlighting the importance of truthfulness, speaking truthfully and avoiding deception; reliability, being dependable and trustworthy; clarity, communicating in a straightforward and unambiguous manner; accountability, taking responsibility for your words and actions. In essence, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Encourages a direct and unwavering approach to what you say, fostering trust and clarity in all interactions. What did Jesus and Paul say? Both Jesus and the Apostle Paul emphasized the importance of truthfulness and integrity in a person's words, though they approached it from slightly different angles and contexts. Jesus' teachings on yes and no. The most direct and well-known teaching from Jesus on this topic comes from the Sermon on the Mount. But let your yes be yes, and your no, no, for whatever is more than these is from the evil one. Matthew 5:37 Niv. In this passage, Jesus was addressing the Jewish practice of taking oaths, which were often used to emphasize the truthfulness of the statement. People would swear by heaven, earth, Jerusalem, or even their own heads, believing that such oaths made their promises more binding. Jesus' point was revolutionary. Your word should be enough. If you are a person of integrity, your simple yes or no should be sufficient. You shouldn't need to invoke God or sacred things to make your statement trustworthy. Oaths can hide dishonesty. Relying on oaths can indicate a lack of intrinsic truthfulness. It suggests that a person's word is only good when backed by something stronger, implying a potential for dishonesty otherwise. Anything beyond is from the evil one. This strong statement highlights that anything that encourages a departure from simple, straightforward truthfulness, such as elaborate oaths meant to manipulate or deceive, is not from God but rather from a deceptive source. Essentially, Jesus taught that sincerity and truthfulness should be so fundamental to a believer's character that their plain word is always reliable. Paul's teachings on yes and no and integrity. Paul also spoke to this principle, particularly in the context of his own apostolic integrity and the reliability of the gospel message. In 2 Corinthians 1, he addresses accusations that he was inconsistent or fickle in his travel plans. Was I fickle when I intended to do this? Or do I make my plans in a worldly manner so that in the same breath I say both yes, yes, and no, no? But as surely as God is faithful, our message to you is not yes and no, for the Son of God, Jesus Christ, who was preached among you by us, by me and Silas and Timothy, was not yes and no, but in him it has always been yes, for no matter how many promises God has made, they are yes in Christ. 2 Corinthians 1:17-20 Niv. Here, Paul connects his own integrity to the very nature of God and the message of Christ. Consistency in his ministry. Paul defends himself against the charge of being inconsistent. He asserts that his intentions and actions, though sometimes seemingly changed due to circumstances, were not born out of duplicity or worldly motives. The yes of God in Christ. He then pivots to a much grander point. God's promises in Christ are always yes. This means God is utterly reliable and consistent in his word and his covenant with humanity through Jesus. The gospel itself is not a fluctuating message of yes and no, but a firm and unwavering affirmation of God's faithfulness. Integrity reflects God's character. For Paul, a minister's integrity is crucial because it reflects the character